ribbon cutting. I'm Karen Brown, the President and CEO of the Outer Banks Chamber. We'd like to thank you for inviting us to be part of your ribbon cutting. As always, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Charter Business. They sponsor all of the chamber ribbon cuttings for the businesses and organizations in the community. I do want to recognize our chairman of the board is here, Mike Pringle. He's in the back hiding. Raise your hand. Thank you for being here, Mike. I think I have a couple other board members that are on their way, but they're not here yet. I also have a lot of ambassadors here. If all of my ambassadors could just raise their hand. Our ambassadors at the chamber kind of are that community liaison for us and for you all. They help connect you with what we have going on in the community and direct some of our newer members and our visitors in the community. With that, I'm going to introduce Chris Salwin, the Executive Director of the Arts Council.
Thanks everybody for being here. I have the distinct honor of thanking a lot of people. So many people are responsible for keeping this building in shape and making it what it is right now, and making it what it will be in the future. Before I do that, I'd like to just turn the mic over to my excellent board president, Mr. Kip Tapp.
Thank you for saying I'm excellent. Not everyone agrees, but we'll go with it. Well, it's a real Outer Banks weather out there today, isn't it? This is just so exciting. You know, you don't really think of organizations or people 100, 110, 115 years ago as being visionary, but in fact, one of the reasons they wanted, that the Board of Commissioners wanted this ornate, for the time, courthouse in this very small, out-of-the-way county, was they wanted it to be a center where people could gather. They understood it was also a courthouse, and yes, people came here for that reason. But in fact, when you read the accounts from those times, what you find is that people were gathering here just as they had envisioned. I'll say I did gather here about 18 or 19 years ago, and it cost me $145. But in fact, that is exactly what this has become, and we are bringing it back to that original concept. And you look around here and look at how many people are here gathered together, and it's really becoming the center of this community once again. It's becoming the place that people come to enjoy who and what the Outer Banks has to offer, and who and what this extraordinary little town that represents so much of Dare County and the Outer Banks is. So thank you all so much for coming, and for everyone who has supported us, thank you so much. I really cannot tell you how much it has meant to us and meant to this community. Chris?
Our co-host for this event is the Manio Preservation Trust, and when we talked about what we would talk about at this function, we wanted to talk a little bit about the vision. And Sarah Benson is going to speak a little bit about what Manio Preservation Trust's vision is for this building. My take on it is more about the vision for how people are going to use the space. This is an experience economy. We have people who come down here and they gladly open up their wallets to go home with an experience. And Elizabethan Gardens' motto, "We grow memories," really sums that up. And a big part of that experience are the creative people of the Outer Banks and Dare County that cook your meals, that decorate your hotel room, that put paintings on the walls. And that's what our mandate is here, is to support creative people. And a small fact that jumped out at me at a recent North Carolina government study that I tell everybody who will listen is that according to this study, the presence of creative professionals in a given region is the single most important factor associated with the amount that visitors will spend. So my vision, the vision that the board of directors of this organization has asked me to execute, is to support the people, to support the people who want to create, design, paint, sing, whatever it is. And so if you know people who have an idea, if you know people who have a dream, hopefully we have some way to help make that a reality. So now the cavalcade of thank yous. I'm going to start with our funders. First of all, the Dare County government. When this building was devastated by Hurricane Irene, the folks from the county came out here again and again and again to get it right. There were so many different issues that had to be tackled, and through their generosity, this day is possible, and decades in the future of great arts programming. Have to thank the Percy W. and Elizabeth G. Meekins Charitable Trust, who are responsible for so many great things in this area. This space here will be known as of today as the Percy W. and Elizabeth G. Meekins Center for the Creative Arts. We have Betty Mann in attendance, who is one of the trustees, and she gave me a great tour of the building that I've worked in for the past 15 months yesterday. I believe, is Charles Evans here?
Right here, thank you.
Charles. And Bill Alexander, the third trustee, is not able to be here, but he sends his best wishes. Also, Outer Banks Visitors Bureau, their grant that began about 2 years ago was instrumental in the renovation of this particular space and also the first floor gallery. Wells Fargo, the Marion Stedman Covington Foundation, Don Enix, Don and Catherine Bryan, and Town Bank of Currituck, who, along with the Visitors Bureau, made that grant money available while we're doing the massive part of the renovation. We found out yesterday that we got a grant from the Outer Banks Community Foundation for new media technology for this room. So I really want to thank them. They're contributing to us in so many ways, but we just found out today, Lorelei Costa was here earlier with the big check, but she had to go catch a plane, so she wasn't able to be here, but they've been a big part of the Arts Council for a long time. I'd like to thank the Outer Banks History Center and the Friends of the Outer Banks History Center. If you haven't seen it already, they've got a wonderful exhibit on the history of of Dare County as expressed through the arts that is in their facility right now and will be up for, I believe, almost a year, till the end of the year. From the county, all the county commissioners, thank you for supporting this organization and supporting those who want to make this building a wonderful place. Specifically, one of our directors on the Dare County Arts Council Board of Directors, Mr. Warren Judge, who will be speaking in a second, Bobby Outen, Dorothy Killingsworth, and Sarah Brubaker, Edward Lee Mann, and Kenny Roughton, who are the folks we call when we have a problem. And the building and grounds crew, who are always here whenever we need something. Jonathan Cahoon, David Creef, Justin Creef, my high school buddy Todd Daniels, Shep Drury, Bobby Grubbs, George King, J.D. Mizell, John Rogers, Keith Sawyer. Also, Ron Mills, who's in charge of the grounds. One of the next phases of the improvement of this building is going to be the rear courtyard. The space behind the building is, we're in full planning to make that a beautiful space for reflection, to make it fit in with the War Memorial, and he's been very helpful in that regard. The town of Manteo, Mayor Jamie Daniels, Kermit Skinner, Aaron Burke, Shannon Twitty, all the Board of Commissioners at the town have been incredibly supportive, not only with the building, but also in the programming that we do in Manteo, and also the Park Committee. And I have to point out one person that's very special to today, and that's Catherine Botchin, who has been just everything you could possibly hope for in a volunteer and a member. She's a gallery volunteer. She's on the Manteo Park Commission. She's on the Manteo Preservation Trust. She's on our Facilities Committee. So she's dedicated so much time into what you're seeing today. I'd also like to thank the Dare County Veterans Advisory Council, who have been really instrumental in helping us make sure that we fit into the ecosystem that includes the Dare County War Memorial. They've been a great partner of ours for well over a year, and we're just thrilled that Dare County has that kind of committee to look out for veterans and their needs. Our professional teams, architect Chris Nason and contractors Matt Tapero and Jeff Ballard, and a long list of craftsmen and construction folks that are too numerous to name, but we've had people in and out of here for the better part of 3 or 4 years helping us out. Our board of directors led by Kip Tabb and our facilities committee led by Brian Edwards. Could I have my board and facility committee raise their hand, please? And we also have a lot of past board members here as well. Special thanks to Barbara St. Amman, who was the facilities committee for 2 of the hardest years when this place was hit by a hurricane. She was one of the first people I met with when I looked to get this position, and she's been a great advisor ever since. Kitty Doe, Malcolm Fearing, who's been a great friend of ours and helping us with all sorts of events. And then the Manio Preservation Trust. Sarah has been tremendous. BB Woody, who can't be here, is the president. And Griselle and Courtney are responsible for our lovely catering. And John Wilson, who's been a great advisor as well. So, I'm going to finish up. For the rest of the evening, we've got, today is the launching of our International Women's Day Art Show, which is tremendous. It's in the back room downstairs, which is called the Vault, because it used to be the Vault. And as part of that, we've got Kim Coleman, who will be performing for you in just a second, and also a special reading from Paula Oliver, who is from the North Carolina Writers Network. We've just started a program where North Carolina writers can come here and do book readings and book signings throughout the year. I also want to thank Robin Ames from the Bar Association, who helped us get the word out to all of the men and women who made this place the center of the DARE justice system for so many years. And last, I just want to thank all the artists and the audiences for those artists that actually make me have a job. So, thanks everyone, and I'd like to introduce Sarah Benson from the Manio Preservation Trust.
What an exciting time in the life of our community. You may be asking yourself, well, what's Arts in the Belfry? Manio Preservation Trust, along with our wonderful partner, Lee Nettles of Visitors Bureau with Outer Banks, have come together because we believe that partners are always stronger together in an effort to gift the belfry that used to stand on this building that was taken down in 1933. It was damaged in the storm. And interestingly enough, the bell is still upstairs in the attic. I saw it personally yesterday. And we're hoping to, when we construct this belfry in the courtyard behind the historic courthouse, that we will, once it's hoisted up into the air and onto the roof, that the 490-pound bell will be reinstalled after all those years. So we're very excited about that. Our vision, keeping faith with the past while looking toward the future, would have been probably crafted out for you in a much more beautiful way by our president, BB Woody. There's only one thing that would have kept BB away from today, and that would be family or a friend who needed her, and that was the case. So I'm stepping in for her, and make sure you say that it went just fine. We're excited that probably on your way out on this stormy day, you'll take a peek at the platform that our builders, Renaissance Construction, have put up for us where the belfry will be built. So you can come by and look at it on a daily basis. The building will start probably Monday. Paul, our designer, Paul Gilbertson, is here. Is that about right, Paul? Okay.
We'll start Monday, but we'll see how the weather is.
Thank you, Paul. So please come by and look at the belfry, and the construction plans are in the corner. And we are still raising a little bit of money for some chiming equipment that will be needed. So we would encourage anybody and invite those gifts as you feel led to do so. So thank you for being here. I do want to say that our Manio Preservation Board members, will you just kind of raise your hands? Thank you. They've worked tirelessly. And you may be asking yourself, why the belfry? Well, our trust, along with some citizens, decided that this, as Chris mentioned, it's such an important place for our community. And the things that we're doing together as partners with the Dare County Arts Council and Outer Banks Visitors Bureau and others, especially our community, is helping place this historic courthouse on the register. We're only one of 2 that are not on the register. So it's a task that we're really determined about, and we know that it will happen. So that's why we're stepping out to build this belfry and to re-hang the bell, the original bell. So I was having a conversation the other day with a friend about bells, and you know, your heart is lifted when you hear a bell individually, but when a community hears a bell together, it really does change us together in a walk of life as a community. So that's our dream for all of us when we hear this bell, to be a remembrance of the people that have gone before us who heard it long ago. And then for us today who maybe will hear it today, and then for those who have yet to come that will hear it in the future. So with that, I'll leave that image with you, and I'd like to invite my friend Lee Nettles up.
Well, I think it was pretty cool how you were able to arrange for the gale winds just to kind of remind us of the storm that took the bell down. It's our pleasure, speaking on behalf of the Visitors Bureau and the Dare County Tourism Board, to be a partner both with the Dare County Arts Council project, this room, the first floor, and now the Belfry. Obviously, my perspective comes from that of tourism and making sure that visitors are attracted to our area and have a good experience and come back to our area. But tourism is not the end, it's the means to the end. The end is an improved quality of life for all the people that live in Dare County, whether it's offsetting taxes or providing great activities and remembrances of our community, and just ways to bring us together and share times together. So we're thrilled, we're honored really to play a part and to be a partner in these projects and others. So thank you.
And on behalf of Mania Preservation Trust and Outer Banks and all of our collaborations, we'd like to give this sketch to you and to the people of Dare County, the Roanoke Island citizens, and the townspeople of Mania, because it's really their gift that we're giving, but we'd like for you to receive it.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll certainly find a good place, probably in our administration building, maybe where the commissioners meet, and we'll thank you. We'll hang it with a great deal of pride on behalf of the Good. No lights on me now. No lights on me. Chris did a wonderful job thanking people and going over just a kind of a history of people that are involved in this. And I didn't think about this until I ran into Kitty Doe at the entranceway, and I said, "Boy, it's been a long time coming." And she reminded me of how nervous she was. She signed the first lease with the county for the Arts Council when there wasn't a whole lot of money. You don't think there's a lot of money now. There really wasn't a whole lot of money. But Kitty, thank you for your guidance back in those days and whatnot. A little bit of trivia for you. What does Andy Griffin have in common with me? We both have starred in this room. So, Dawn Enix, where's Dawn? On the jury in the Matlock movie, right?
Oh no, I was.
Oh, you were a busybody who was in the audience, right? Yeah, town's pretty great. How many were you? How many starred in the Matlock movie? How many? Yeah, look at that. That's our history, folks. Our history and our culture. And Manteo is downtown Manteo. You know, it's great. Malcolm teases me all the time that I need a passport to to come to Manio. Well, I fixed him one night. We had the police stop him when he crossed over in the legs. But no, there's just a certain special something about Manio, and thank you all for coming out today. With me today, my colleagues, Virginia Tillett. Virginia, thank you for being here. Commissioner Jack Shea, Jack, thank you, and Wally Overman, thank you for being here and sharing this day with us. Kip talked about our vision 115 years ago. I assure you that wasn't my vision, but it was about 12 years ago. We hadn't yet moved into the new courthouse, but the Capital Improvements Committee was beginning to talk and discuss in our committee meetings, what are we going to do with the courthouse? There was no question that we were going to preserve our asset and use it, but we just didn't know what we were going to do. But I'll tell you what, and I know this sounds like I'm just playing to the crowd, but the Arts Council was in that very early discussion as a group, or one of the groups, that may well serve us as the caretakers of this building. A couple years later, sir, you're talking about the bill, we had opened the courthouse. It was about 18 months later. It was in 2003, and myself and Terry Wheeler, the county manager at the time, and I can't remember who was served. Renee Cahoon was on the Capital Improvements Committee, I believe Stan White, and we had our architects, and we had a meeting in this building. Everything was out of it by now, and all of us climbed upstairs and found the bell. Not that it was lost, but it just wasn't in everybody's memory that the bell was still there. So it's great that that's all coming back together. And you spoke about partnerships and getting together, and I like to use the word harmony, that many voices, all of them different, coming together and working together, and what a great thing y'all have created. All of us have a responsibility to tell the story of yesteryear and to carry it forward to our children, to the next generation, to preserve history. You know, not probably many of us when we were in grade school and high school studying history would probably say, why do we want to do, why? But it is so important because it's the fabric of our life, and it's just so great that we're here today in this building. We've restored this building. Superior Court, I'm sure, Malcolm, you've probably been here a couple of times. Right? Dorothy was going to tell a jury, Dorothy Killingsworth was going to tell a jury story. I'm going to tell my jury story. I was here one July, it was hot and the air conditioner wasn't working. And I'm in the jury pool, and they called me up, and I was in the box, and the attorneys were asking questions, and they asked this one lady who will remain anonymous, has she concluded anything? Has she made any decisions about the innocence or guilty of the defendant? She says, well, I know all the sheriffs, and if you're here on trial, you got to be guilty. And the next question I asked is if they knew anybody in the room. She said, well, I know Warren Judge. So I figured I was in trouble. The next day, I'm still back. I thought I'd be thrown out. The next day, it was so hot. The air conditioner's not working. And we were recessing for lunch. And I went up and I caught the judge before he was leaving. I said, sir, would you like me to go get something done with this air conditioner? He said, yes, please. I went down the street to Terry Will. I said, you've got to get that air conditioner working in the courthouse. We all came back from lunch. It was cold in here. 5 o'clock, they recessed court, and the judge called me forward. Says, you're free to go. But anyway, sorry. Thank you for letting me tell that story, but it's just kind of neat coming back into this room. The Arts Council. What a great tenant. What a great caretaker of this building. We couldn't have found a better person, a better organization, and all the people involved with it. What you've done downstairs, Chris, and to the board, and the people that served on the boards who aren't there serving today. Thank you for taking on this building and for what you've done to it. And all the sponsors that are helping and donating money so that restoration can go on and go forward. We thank you for that. We thank you for caring for this building through our art. And don't we have a great community artists? Don't we? Let's give it up to them. Chris or Sarah mentioned Don and Catherine Bryant. I mean, what giants, and so many people out there. I better not call out people because I'll leave somebody out, but they just fresh in my mind because we've recently lost them. And but thank you for what you're doing to preserve this structure and to use it. More importantly, to use it. It's so great that the doors are open and people are able to come in here, and it's once again it's a bedrock, it's a beacon for this community, for downtown Manteo. We thank you all and everybody who contributes to it and has put time into it. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate it. Down at 5 o'clock. He kept on going. About 5 after 5, Eddie Alice comes down the hall, stands in the doorway and stares at him. Walks back down to the office, comes down at 5:15. Judge Barnes still going, right? She stares at him, kind of clears her throat. Walks back down to the office. Comes down at 5:30, opens the door, shuts the lights out.
Are you ready? Yeah. Cut the ribbon.
Very subtle as usual.
Ready? Go. 1, 2.